the Boston Bruins defense may surprisingly be already one of the best in the NHL. And I'm going to be talking about why this is the case. We also have a very credible goaltender, former Boston Bruins goaltender, in Andrew Raycroft, discussing the Jeremy Swayman contract extension and his thoughts about not to panic. We also have finally a new commentator for the Boston Bruins who replaced Jack Edwards, and we also have Jack Edwards' response and thoughts on his replacement. So stick around to find out all of this news that we have here to bring you today. Before we get into it, though, we know 75% of you guys watching right now are not subscribed to the channel. If you're looking for a spot to get all of your Boston Bruins news, you're in the right spot. Hit the sub button, join me here as we cover everything around the Boston Bruins, and we're still waiting on that very big and expected Jeremy Swayman contract extension. So make sure to hit the sub button and you won't miss a beat with this team. But let's get into our first topic here. And a former Bruins goalie discusses this Swayman extension. And as I mentioned in the intro, this goalie is Andrew Raycroft, a very credible goalie, especially in the situation for this contract and how this contract, kind of relates to the goaltenders and everything that that we're waiting for. It's really just a situation that they've had lots of people kind of discuss. When's it going to happen? We have former GMs, coaches, players, and goalies all commenting on this, not to worry. And in my opinion, Andrew Raycroft has one of the more important things to say on this. And this is what he had to say. Raycroft is certainly somebody who fans should trust, as he is, of course, a former NHL goaltender who spent 11 years in the sport's most competitive league. Right now, he's also the slowest time of hockey year, evidence of the lack of moves around the NHL. However, once we get closer to training camp, there is no question that Swayman's deal not being done could create more concern. Now, this is obviously the thing. As I mentioned here, Raycroft, an 11-year NHL veteran, former Bruins goalie, so he has the right to be able to kind of put his input on this. And here's his quote. Here's what he had to say. No level of concern. No updates. Haven't heard a thing. Everybody's gone. The hockey world, everybody is gone. Since July 7th, when that development camp shut down, the last one in the league, everybody is gone. There's really no reason for fans to be worried about a contract until September. September 1st is maybe when you can start thinking about or even talking about it. And even then, they still have 2 weeks ahead of camp. So a very credible goalie, a guy who's been in situations like this, witnessed situations like this that Jeremy Swayman is currently in. And he knows best. You have to listen to the guys that have actually done this before. So having this come from a former goalie, a former Bruins goalie, and someone who's been in the situation, we got to listen to him. It's still a lot of worry as the days go on, but as he mentioned, this is their summer break right now. Development camp is over. There's nobody around. Nobody's forcing this contract to get done right now. Both sides want to take their time. Both sides want to get the best deal for the team and the player respectively. So they're going to meet somewhere. And as he mentioned, we still have about a month until we really need to start worrying. And a month is a lot of time to get a contract underway, get one signed, get that dotted line signed. So we have to kind of just wait it out, as Andrew Raycroft said, and he knows best in this situation. But let me know what you think. Do you have any updates here before we get into it? But the second topic that we have here today is the Bruins may have the best defense in the NHL already. And this still is a very, very young defense with years to come of more talent, more expectancy coming from the 7 players that I will be talking about here today. And this is what we're going to pull up first, is the defense itself. I want to pull up what we have, what we're looking at right now. And from many reports that I've seen, from many articles, many different articles, websites, and whatnot, these are the lines that just about everybody thinks we're going to see. Pairing the first one with Zadorov and McAvoy, I think that's a fair assessment. Pairing 2, Elias Lindholm and Brandon Carlo, once again, could be an absolutely lethal unit if we get the Elias Lindholm that we know we can see, what we know he can be, as well as the Brandon Carlo we've seen last year. That could be a very good pairing as well. And then this third pairing, one that is going to be sneaky good, and one that a lot of people are going to hate playing against. And this is Mason Lohrei and Andrew Peeke. We have also not mentioned here Parker Wotherspoon as the 7th defenseman, can play both sides, and really will get a lot of games this year, knowing that the injuries are going to occur, and we're going to have, bugs going around locker rooms. He's going to get a great opportunity here as well, even as the 7th defenseman. But from looking at these lines now, looking at this from a fan standpoint, but also looking at this from an outside standpoint, I've asked some of my buddies what they think about this defense. And they got to say, too, they are very much in the same opinion as me, the same mindset, that this is one of the most dangerous defenses in the NHL. You have the star power in Charlie McAvoy. You have the very big defenseman in Zadorov, in Carlo, in Lowry, a very big defensive unit, and just the pairings and the way everything is lined up, the way it's built is just solid. It is perfect in every situation, every scenario. The one thing I guess people can critique this on is that there is not too much experience on the lower half of that, mainly being Peak and Wotherspoon, or Peak, Wotherspoon, and Lowry. But that will come with experience. Every team will have that. But this defense, for years to come, will be dangerous. And this is another big reason why. Looking at this now, the contracts that we have, as well as the ages. The oldest on this defense right now is Hampus Lindholm at 30 years old. We know that 30 years old is kind of just the starting point of kind of aging out of an NHL spot. But 30 is still very much, especially for defensemen, in your prime. So we have this defense for, the 4 years for those top three, in Zadorov, Lindholm, and McAvoy. Brandon Carlo for 3 more years, Peak for 2, and Lowry for 1. But, we're going to see extensions for, I would say, majority of these guys. A lot of these guys are going to be here a long time. And I don't see this really being a team that players want to play against. This is going to be one that you're going to hate going up against from the size, the skill that you have, the matchups, everything. This works out to be something that teams are going to be scared of. So I want to know what you guys think. Do you think this is one of the best defenses in the NHL? Do you think this one is going to be one that sticks around for a long time and becomes one of those dynasty cores that we see on previous teams that we've seen over the past decade on the defensive side? But let's head out to our final topic here of this video, which is Jack Edwards' replacement has been finalized. We have it revealed. We have everything done with this. And I gotta say, from not being in the Boston area, being Canadian, we don't get to see too much of really any other commentators apart from the number one. So we're very familiar with Jack Edwards. We know Jack Edwards. We love Jack Edwards. But for me, not knowing too much about the other, commentators, especially radio and everything, I need your guys' opinion on this. I want to know what you guys think, more so because your opinion counts on this more than mine, since I haven't listened too much to any radio. So we're going to pull up our first screenshot here, going over Judd Sirrot. Sirrot is known in the industry for being an insightful, measured, and professional announcer. He is not as colorful as Jack Edwards, but is equally enthusiastic with his calls. And he also has said that he wants to be more colorful. That's not going anywhere. That enthusiasm is going to just be going up and up. And that's a Boston Bruins commentator thing. Very happy that he is putting this into his hands, taking this into consideration, and still running with that Jack Edwards culture that we have here. But Sirrot has been the Bruins radio play-by-play announcer on 98.5, the Sports Hub, for the last 7 seasons, and has held the position since 2017-18 alongside Bob Beers. So he's familiar with this team. It's not like we have a new guy coming on the scene. He's very, very familiar with this team. I've seen a bit. I haven't seen too much about his whole career path and everything like that, but from the little I've seen, he's going to be a perfect replacement. So once again, I want to know what you guys think about this. I'm sure many of you in the Boston area know more about him than I do, so I want your opinion. But we have a quote from Jack Edwards as well, revealing what he thinks about the replacement that was going to be his position. But he has to say this: "Congratulations to Judd Sirrot, a new voice of Boston Bruins on NESN. A seamless transition and a perfect fit. A good man, a good friend, and a guy who left his thumbprints on every rung of the ladder. I'm so happy. So should be all the members of the Bruins tribe." And that's what we want to see from our former commentator, Jack Edwards, passing the torch along. No one's going to live up to him, but as close as we can get is going to be good. And if he has the stamp of approval, we have to agree as well. So let me know what you think about all this news that we have here today. Still in the middle of the offseason, and as Andrew Raycroft says, it's pretty dead, but we still have a lot of news that's coming out, especially from a more of an outside standpoint, management and everything like that. But make sure to hit the sub button. Keep you guys updated with all the Boston Bruins news on this channel here, so you're not going to want to miss it. But I'm signing out. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day. See you later.